Welcome to Fantasy Inception Playoff Edition. I am your host, Josh Grossman. With me, as always, are my two co-hosts, Jeff Hahn, Landon Rush. Jeff, you're in the finals. Congratulations, man.
You believe it? You believe it? 3 years in a
Right.
row.
3 in a row. Amazing.
With us, we have the other finals manager, Matt Fender. Congrats, Matt.
Thank you.
First time in a row. All right.
First time in a row. First time in a couple of years. I lost by like 1.5 points last time I was in the finals.
Yeah, I remember looking at that.
And shit.
Yep.
I lost to Josh Allen last year in the finals, so
we have
1.5 points.
Yeah,
I'll never forget it. It was a 40-yard touchdown pass that he had. Well, it was a plus 40-yarder. He had the Stephon Diggs. It was like a 10-yard slant route. He caught it at the 50 or something like that and just broke through the entire defense. And we have those bonus points for like a 40-yard touchdown pass, 2 points.
Yeah.
That's what cost me the victory last year.
Well, I'm definitely hoping for a repeat of that.
I hope not.
We have some good storylines. So we'll quickly look at the last week's matchups and then look at the championship game. And then we will have the first annual Clown Town Awards. And that will be it for the episode. Next week, we'll obviously look at the championship game again, but then we'll focus on lessons learned, things that we could take away and hopefully use next year. And that will be the last episode of the season. So we're nearing the end here. It's been fun. Let me share my screen.
Get my life back. Finally.
Life without fantasy is just not the same.
It's not.
It's really not.
Dude, it feels like it opens up so much of your week.
I know you have so much time.
But then I'm just bored and I'm just like scrolling through Reddit.
Then you just got to go to
Nothing
daily
on
fantasy for the playoffs.
Yeah, I've been doing daily for a while. All right, the first matchup we'll look at was Jeff's win over Moreau. This one was a close game, closer than the score shows. Both teams missed out on big players because of injury. Fournette for Moreau and Connor for Jeff. Had Moreau started Edmonds over Mooney, he would have been close. It would have been even closer. In the end, it didn't matter, but that was one of those decisions that I think he could have gotten, close to thinking about for a long, long time. Jeff, did you think you were done when Taylor scored only 10 points, or were you pretty confident all the way through?
I wasn't confident, that's for sure. I mean, I expected a bigger game out of Taylor. I was hoping for one of those, at least 20-point games as he was projected, right? I think you said it. If a player can hit their projection on those early week, that was a Saturday game, I believe, right? So if the player can hit their projections, then you kind of feel good, a lot better, I guess, about going into the rest of the week's matchups. But so no, I did not feel all that confident going into the week.
Yeah,
just happy with the way things turned out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure. Landon, there were a lot of odd performances here on both teams, both players way underperforming as well as players having massive games where you didn't necessarily expect it. What was one of the more surprising performances in your mind?
Just over for either team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not obviously, but Joe Burrow, just unbelievable pickup by Geoff there.
Mm-hmm.
What they say, I think it's one of the four, the yardage.
Five quarterbacks that have thrown 3 touchdowns and over 400 yards against the Baltimore Ravens, and he's done it twice.
Like an all-time historic performance. And when you win by 20, Burrow put up 40 points. That could easily have. This game could be a lot closer if that didn't happen, or it would have been, obviously. So that was a great pickup.
Definitely, and you've been doing it, Jeff. Props to you. You've been. I was going through. Because I was trying to come up with like a streamer of the year type of award, except none of us were very good at streaming. And you streamed QB and tight end throughout the entire season. Not as much luck on the tight end streaming, but you did an excellent job streaming QBs the whole way through. So
Thanks,
Mad
man.
You're
impressive.
like the
Let's
only
turn-
one in the league that does that, I believe. Is that
Well-
an accurate statement?
It's definitely a different approach. I've never done that before in the past. I had my eye on some guys going into the draft that I was unable to get. And at that point, I just opted to say, all right, this is the way I'm going to roll. I ended up drafting at the time Baker Mayfield and Justin Fields, hoping that Fields would be my up guy in about week 3. I knew that really wasn't going to play out the way I was hoping it to. So I had to kind of pivot. And I think at the time I pivoted towards Kirk Cousins, who's been very solid this year, but he's just kind of been floating out there. But then I think I went Joe Burrow after that and just kind of riding with it. So for the most part.
There were at least a couple teams that had, Schaefer had like Lamar and Herbert, and so
Yeah.
not having those huge players on the wire makes it less likely that you're going to have more teams streaming, but also that those teams had injuries and then they just were able to go to their bench players. So not as much needing to rely on the waivers. In the other matchup, Matt, good victory over Schaefer, who underperformed to say the least, but you put up a really solid 138. This one was also significantly impacted this time by COVID. Fender, you were out Kelsey, which must have been a huge blow to you, shortly before that game. Schaefer was out Eckler and Mike Williams. Fender, was this one ever in doubt for you?
I was nervous as soon as I got the notification that Kelsey was out for the week. I scrambled, and obviously Henry did not perform as well as I would have liked for my backup tight end. But yeah, I mean, Schaefer had a solid team going in, and you're right with the COVID. I mean, with Williams being out and Eckler being enough to be able to grab Jackson on the waiver, use him to my advantage, and yeah, so I got about halfway through the first round of games on Sunday. It started to look okay.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask you was Jackson, because there were 3 or 4 running backs that we had talked about, before waivers last week being available. Where was Jackson in those lists in terms of who you were aiming to pick up? Was he, towards the bottom? Were you looking at Ronald Jones first, or was he towards the top?
He was second. I put in a waiver offer for Ronald Jones that obviously Moreau put in a higher offer.
Right.
So yeah, Jackson was second on the list. I think I put like $2 in for him just because I knew that I wouldn't have him for the championship. It was going to be a 1 week thing. So yeah, it was just riding him while he was hot.
Yeah, props to Moreau for picking up Rojo. That was a great pickup. He didn't waste any money. And, I know I bid on Rojo, even though I had $0 my bid, but I did the same with Rojo 1. I think I went, Jackson 2 for $0. And I ended up getting Samaje Perine. So didn't play. So I ended up dropping him. So
do you think Moreau picks up Ronald Jones if he's not part of the conversation last week?
Yeah, I think he would have. He was definitely starting to feel, I think, a little bit of the playoff fever, and he was staying a little bit more on top of his team than maybe we've seen in the past at that point. So yeah, I think he would have.
I felt so bad for him towards the end because you could tell he was like so disappointed that he wasn't really able to had such issues with the technical issues with being on the
last week, right?
Yeah. So Landon, for Schaefer, was there anything that he could have done here, or was it just bad luck having this many players underperform?
Yeah, I think it's just bad luck. I mean, I don't have his fab budget pulled up in front of me, but yeah, I mean, it's bad luck.
I think he had like $80, didn't he? I mean, geez, I have no idea what he ended up
had
with.
It left. But yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it before. I mean, I don't know if Justin Jackson was necessarily like a clear handcuff to Eckler, but when you get towards the end of the year, this is when it kind of really benefits to have those type of players that you can just kind of plug in, especially this year with COVID, where you can just easily you lose. I mean, if he would have had Jackson, obviously Fender wouldn't have had him, and that could have swung the whole matchup.
Yeah.
I was pissed when he took Ingram earlier in the year too, when Kamara was out.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to add to this one, or should we look at the championship game?
Well, I think the disappointing thing, I'll just go with my disappointment for the week. Kittle would certainly be up there. Just coming off such big performances the previous 2, if not 3 weeks, and then all Los Angeles Chargers, in my opinion, going against Houston, especially Herbert there.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I think a lot of people are on Herbert this week, and he did not perform.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the championship game. I know we're going kind of quickly through it, but no one cares except for you two. So, so at the time that I was doing my research, you guys were both projected for 144. You guys have made a couple moves since then, but still very, very close on the projections and teams. I think the projections as a whole are pretty spot on. I think it's going to be a close one. And both of you have really high projections in the 140s. Landon, waivers ran this morning, and both Jeff and Finder picked up. I think both of you picked up at least a couple people. Run us through who you think makes the biggest impact on this matchup. I can scroll down to the bench if that helps too.
Finder making his candidacy for a Bills Mondo.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of broke it down just for each team, I guess.
Sure, go for it.
And I think, I mean, for Jeff, I think the Indy the best pickup move for him. I mean, his starting lineup seems to be pretty set. So, I mean, I don't know. He also got Boston Scott. So, depending on if that might be a good play, but I don't know who he necessarily would sit to play Boston Scott. The only thing I speak now, and I think that's a huge risk. So I don't know.
Allen, that's the guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Going against Denver defense. That's the one question mark in my lineup.
Yeah. So but Indy's defense against Las Vegas. Vegas hasn't been really putting up many points lately, and then Indy has the ability to put up some big points too. 2 of the last 3 weeks have been over 20 fantasy points. Good potential for a big game from them. And then for Fender,
hoping for a big running day out of Jonathan Taylor, which obviously keeps the defense off the field, right? And then when the defense is on the field, they make some stops and get that running game going again. So that's what we're hoping for out of the Indy game.
Kansas City had 27 points a few weeks ago against Las Vegas, so it's definitely possible. And then for I mean, again, it's kind of lame saying this, but the defense, again, Buffalo defense, I think is going to have a pretty big game against Atlanta. Atlanta's the third. They give up the third most points to fantasy defenses, and so there's definitely potential there for a big game. But then I have just questions for Fender too. I mean, are you going to go? Because I think you picked up like Rex Burkhead or Agun Bilal. You have you put Renfro in. Are you going to go MVS? I mean, what if Howard goes out? Like, you have a backup plan? What's the deal?
Yeah, that second running back spot has been a mess for me all season, ever since like week 1 when Mostert got injured. So I've just got a committee of running backs that could potentially go. That I just have to pick my poison for that second running back this week. I'm not sure which. I think if Howard is healthy, I'd probably go with him. Just because, Jacksonville and Houston have such horrible offenses. They're probably going to be passing a lot in the second half. Foreman, you see what the Miami defense did to Kamara last week, holding him up. So it's not a great situation for me, but I'm going to have to go with one of them. So we'll see.
What do you think he should go with, Grossman?
I think the Miami defense thing was a little bit unique in that New Orleans, had zero ability to throw the ball.
No Simeon, no Hill. Now they're on their third string quarterback. Like, pick 6 to start the game.
Right.
You're already in a hole. So, yeah.
So
I would love to go with Foreman, but they were back to a committee last week against San Francisco, even though he had a couple great games the week before. So I would like to plug him, assuming he's going to get the majority of the carries. I'm just not confident with that at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you would have liked obviously to see Howard have a little bit more healthy games before playing. And of course, I can't X out of it. There we go. Yeah, other than that, I'm not sure you have many options.
Yeah.
Is it Gunawalier? Isn't he a? Never
He's
mind.
the guy there now because
He's
yeah.
the guy with
So I
Robinson.
know Robinson got
Robinson's
injured.
gone and
Yeah.
Hyde's out, I think, too.
I
Yep.
thought New England was a better run defense, but they show as like middle of the road run defense. So
They are weak against the receiving out of the backfield.
okay. But yeah, it'll be interesting with MBS. I still haven't been able to get my mind around trusting him, but Minnesota is just it's such an easy matchup. It's hard to
Yeah,
to
I
bench him.
agree. It's going to be between him and I mean Perriman is
That's a risk.
the next receiver up for Tom Brady, and with that offense, you could see him. You could see Antonio Brown being covered very heavily this week, and I mean he's either going to go to Gronk or he's got to go to someone else. So that's what I'll be looking into over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I'd be worried that they would get a big lead and not need to throw the ball against the Jets.
Yeah, that too. It's probably going to be MVS.
And you guys have neither of you have any Thursday.
No,
right?
there's no. As of right now, this matchup will be decided on Sunday.
No.
Don't you have a Monday game?
I took it out. I had Cleveland as my defense, and
that's right. This game will be decided on Sunday. I hate Thursday games. They make me very nervous. So I'm glad there's no Thursday games.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm hoping it'll be a good matchup because, I mean, I was going through this season.
I hope it's a blowout.
And there were not many. There were not many close games. There was a handful of close games, and I think there's only one game with a 1 point difference or less, and a handful with like a 5 point difference. So it would be good to see something really close and exciting for the fans.
Absolutely, that's what the fans want. Let's give them what they need.
I think I've got 8 noon games, and GF has 7 noon games, so we'll know quite a bit by about 3:30.
Okay.
Would you ever put Cam Akers in? I mean, if Sony was out or something.
Oh, if Sony was out, absolutely lock and load.
His first
baby.
game.
I would. If the coach trusts him, I trust him.
Yeah.
He was active, but was he active last game? And he didn't.
No, he was not. Right? He was not active.
He wasn't active. Okay.
No.
What with them?
GF, do you know what the questionable tag by Harris and Brown is right now? Is it just precautionary?
Brown, that one's new. I don't know what that is. But for Harris, I mean, this is what like Bill Belichick and the Patriots do. They always have a core group of guys that end up on the like questionable list just because they can. They're allowed to like throw as many players as they want. Just try to throw their opponent off a little bit, and then come Sunday, the tags will be removed and the guys go out there and play full health.
I'd love that too. Not that I want anybody injured, but Stevenson would be fantastic if Harris happened to have some nagging injury that he couldn't play.
I mean, yeah, Damian Harris last week without Stevenson in the backfield, 3 touchdowns. So
yeah,
absolutely, I totally get it.
Yep, exactly. Stevenson can't be trusted if Harris is playing right now. He earned that percentage share of the backfield back last week.
I feel like I got a lot of running back depth on my bench that I could easily plug in there for him if he did.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying I'd be in good shape if that.
I would lean Connor number 1 if Connor's question. I mean, that's what you got to eat those up at this time of the year.
Oh, for sure, absolutely, yes. Don't want your opponent to get them.
No, absolutely not.
Who do you guys think will win this one? Jeff is going to say Fender. Fender will say Jeff.
I'm going to take myself. I really hope I want this one. I do. Fender's beaten me twice already this year. This would certainly this would be sweet to have a little comeback there against him for the previous 2 losses that he gave me in the regular season.
Matt, are you going to get your first championship ever?
I certainly hope so. I'm gonna make my official pick Geoff though, just because of his team and the fact that I have beaten him twice. I hope I can get the hat trick and prove myself wrong, but I just that second running back spot is scaring me right now. So we'll see.
I'm just fingers crossed that the Atlanta Falcons D can somehow hold the Bills, Josh Allen, and Stephon Diggs. I'm hoping below 40 points combined, 45 points combined. If I can keep them under 45 points, I think I have a real chance of winning this thing.
Okay.
I'm praying that that Taylor has another performance like last week.
I mean, 10 points, 12.
Yeah, he had 10 points, which is like obviously not. What was it, like over 100 yards? I mean, you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, and that's just
insane.
7 for 1. And you're like, ugh, that sucked.
And that the Minnesota.
I wasn't mad at him. You know, I mean, I can only just say I put him under my arm and I say, look, we're going to give you the ball again next week. Let's go.
I think you may have been mad at him if you lost last week.
Yeah.
And if Wentz isn't playing, I don't think he is.
He's not.
Wentz is not
COVID.
playing?
Yeah, that's a concern. But that's why I'm hoping they run the heck out of the ball.
That's not good for Pittman, also, by the way.
Thanks for making me aware of that.
But that's,
I wasn't hoping you'd say anything about that. I was kind of licking my chops on that.
Not that it's, incentive, but Taylor might get the ball even more.
He's the notes say he could still clear by Sunday, so we'll see.
He can under the new COVID protocols that they've adopted. He can still clear by Sunday.
Yeah, but he has
5 days. 5 days is what the new CDC
5 days
recommendations
to clear,
is. Yeah,
that'll be exciting.
Right. Well,
Landon, what was did you make a prediction?
Yeah, sorry, Fender. I'm gonna go G off. Just that second.
I don't blame you.
Scares me a little bit, and MVS scares me a little bit. So.
It's all right. You picked me 1 week, Landon, so I appreciate that.
I'm gonna say Fender. I think.
Thank goodness. That's the curse, man. To get everybody to say the same team, like Monday Night Football. You see those.
Oh, should I? Okay, I'm changing my.
You're a jerk.
Jeff, I think Jeff's gonna win then.
I know you said me exactly. That's the curse when every analyst picks the same team.
I know.
Grossman, all right. Stick with your guns, Grossman.
Well, I hope it's a good game. I hope you get your first championship, Matt.
Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Me too.
Good luck, and
all right, guys.
Yeah, that's all I got.
We'll be in touch, I'm sure, Fender.
I'm sure we'll be texting. All right. Good luck.
Later,
off.
Good luck, man. Bye.
Later.
All right. Now we are gonna do the Clown Town
Dundies.
We need a name for it. This is like
if I win this week, am I like the best fantasy player in our league?
Oh my gosh! Look at you got a PowerPoint.
Yeah, but I put zero effort into this. Best player in the league, like all time or this year?
All time greatest.
I mean, I still have 3 championships.
I'm not saying you're not in the Hall of Fame with me.
Years. Oh, Hall of Fame, yeah. Mount Rushmore, me and you.
Mount Rushmore for sure.
2-man Mount Rushmore.
I mean, I would just say we do our face 2 times each.
Ooh, I like it.
I mean, I have 2 championships. Does that count for anything?
We could do like a smaller one, right?
I mean,
Landon, this is our show. Why don't you just leave?
All right, Clown Annual Awards. We will we'll hopefully get some better categories and more fun stuff in next year's. But for this one, I'm gonna have a few awards, only a handful of them, and then the nominees. You guys take your time and tell me which one you think is the winner. So this is the award for 4-leaf clover stuck straight up the ass. This is the luckiest manager. Our nominees are Matt Finder, who had the most victories, 5, while being in the bottom half of scoring. Dave Walter, who had the least amount of missed games by key performers, only having Henderson and Patterson miss a single game each.
Wow.
And then, Jeff, you had the least amount of points against in the league. So, guys, I'm going to be the deciding vote if you two cannot agree on someone. Who are you choosing as the luckiest manager of the year?
That's a crazy stat by Walter. I mean, that is lucky if you ask me. To be able to sustain your entire team basically for an entire fantasy football season, like that's a lot of luck. I didn't know that. That's
a lot of luck, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for him.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, I only look at the season for all of these awards. So I stopped looking or counting anything during the playoff games. And I definitely thought, Jeff, I thought you were going to end up being the one, but I counted Hunt as a key performer, and he obviously missed a bunch of games. So yeah. So who are you guys going with?
As much as I would love,
I mean,
to
and
give Jeff
Patterson was a
hard
pickup
time
off of
here.
waivers. I gotta take Walter. That's incredible. That's lucky.
Landon, who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fender. I mean, having those
That's up there too.
Yeah.
victories. I mean, that's what we play for. Obviously, is to win.
Yep.
So most going
Yes.
victories. I mean, that's lucky.
I'm gonna go with Fender as well. So Matt Fender, congratulations. You are the luckiest manager of the year. We'll have your award in the mail. Next award is the Elaine Bennis Award. This is the manager with the worst moves. It's actually just a single move. Although Landon, you had plenty of bad moves. Landon, nominees. Landon, who traded Waddle to Moreau for Mooney before Waddle went off. Moreau, who towards the beginning of the season.
You forgot the second half of it. Dropped Mooney only so Moreau could pick him back up the next week.
Oh, no, I left that off. Moreau traded Deontay Johnson and Javonte to me for DJ Moore and Ertz, which I don't think was the worst in the world. Jeff is our third nominee, who dropped Marquise Brown at the beginning of the season. And then Rolands for just keeping Henry on his bench for the entire second half of the season, despite him having zero shot of coming back until maybe this week at the earliest. Guys, who is your vote for manager with the worst moves?
Like I've talked about this Marquise Brown dropping multiple times already this year, but I don't think it stands to Landon's trade and then proceeding to drop the player and give him back to Moreau. That's just, I mean, have you guys seen what's the movie with Kevin Costner where he's Draft Day, right?
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. But he's like this Browns GM. And then there's a scene in there where he's like, remember when you were talking to Jacksonville and you told him to take your pick, and you did, and then they ended up trading you 2 more picks for it because you wanted it back. And that's exactly how it played out to me. If you've seen that movie, it'll make a lot more sense. Just watch that one scene. It's funny. That's Landon, in my opinion.
Landon, are you going to give yourself?
I would give myself this award.
All
yes.
right. Landon, congratulations on the Elaine Bennis Award.
Thank you.
Next award, I couldn't come up with anything creative, but the Overachiever Award. So this is the manager who succeeded despite adversity.
We'll call it the Minuteman. We'll call it the Minuteman Award.
Why? But it's a good thing.
Oh, I thought you want to get there quick.
Oh, no, this is a good thing.
Oh.
So like a 4 minute.
Mr. Stamina guy over there, I guess, huh?
Wow. 3 to 4 minute man. BJV is our first nominee. He had 8 wins and almost made the playoffs despite having his top 3 players, CMC, Cook, and Carson, miss gigantic chunks of the season. Myself was in the playoff hunt through the last week of the season, despite starting 0-4 and having the second most points against. And Fender, who is in the championship game, despite having the fewest number of drafted players still on his team with 4.
Good stat.
I mean, 0-4. If it was 0-5, Grossman, I'd have to give you this, but I gotta. No, I know, but I gotta go with BJV.
That was my vote too.
Yeah, I agree.
BJV, congratulations. You overachieved, which sounds bad. I make my own luck and I'm terrible at an award. This is the unluckiest manager. Landon, who had the most losses while being in a top half performer or a scorer for the week with 4. And he had the most points against. BJV, who had the least amount of missed games by I'm sorry, that didn't get.
That's not right.
Ignore the BJV one. Bino, who had the most close losses with 4. And close losses was like 6 points or under, basically. And then Rolands, who had the most fantasy relevant players get injured for more than 1 game, with Henry, Murray, Hopkins, Higgins, Montgomery, Hawkinson, Shark, Ruggs, MT, and Knox. It was like the list just kept going and going and going.
Dude, that one
so
week
ignore
he
it.
Couldn't feel the team was.
Oh, he was every week.
Incredible.
Someone else. He was so. I thought he was going to be on suicide watch. All right, ignore BJV. So is Landon going to have 2 awards this year, or are we going to give it to Bino or Rolands?
As much as I would love to give it to myself here, I think Rolands, that just injury loss.
Extra crispy all day.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, brutal.
Jeff, that's yours as well.
Yeah.
Roland's, that is your award for the year. And then our last, I believe this is the last award, the draft pick of the year award. I think we all will go with the same person. So maybe give me your second person as well. Schaefer I'm just going to keep dropping stuff.
Boy.
Cup for $10. Moreau had 2 great draft picks with Leonard for $1 and Debo for $6. Jeff, you had Connor for $2, which was great. And Landon, you had Chase for $6, which was another really solid pick. Give me your number one, and then assuming we all go with the same number one, I just want to hear who your second, pick of the year.
I mean, yeah, number one's Cup, obviously, right? Number one wide receiver. I think he's 90 yards away from breaking like the single season's receiving record.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So with 2 weeks to go, lock it in.
Okay, so who is your second? Well, Schaefer, congratulations. You don't watch this anyways, but we'll give you the award. And then who, just out of curiosity, what do you think is the next best pick?
Yeah, it's good. Go ahead, Landon. Who you got?
I like both of Moreau's. I don't know how.
Yeah.
You have to choose one.
If I have to choose one, shit. Leonard, just because he's a running.
Oh, Volume, sure, but now he's injured. IR. I mean,
yeah, Debo. They're both
Chase and
fantastic.
Debo aren't. So give me Debo. $6. I like the $6 guys. I'll take Debo.
Yeah.
Is that yours too, Landon?
Sure. Yeah.
He said Leonard.
Okay, I would have gone Leonard as well.
Oh, you're the tiebreaker.
But
So is it
all
Debo
of it-
who won?
All of it's
Leonard
Moreau.
won. Yeah, those are two
think
great.
that was
You
picks.
should send the gift to Moreau because he had, two strong.
He did. He had 2 really strong, and then like 4 really expensive, horrible picks to even it out. So next week, guys, you guys are gonna have some work to do because next week I want us to focus on lessons learned. So each of us is gonna give 3 lessons learned for the season. They could be very they could be very detail oriented on specific teams or players, or draft strategy, waiver strategy, narratives that we got wrong, things that will be useful for people maybe next year. So that will be our focus for our last show of the year, and hope you guys
And to
enjoyed
crown
this.
the champion.
Yeah, we'll spend like a second on that. Jeff won't want to talk about it after he loses.
Yo, you're right. I mean, if I lose this week, I might be on suicide watch. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, you might
calling
not be
all,
with
like-
us next week.
take all the knives out of the house.
We'll just send you some extra booze.
Yeah.
It could be winners booze or losers booze. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Good luck, Jeff. I'm rooting for
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck.
Peace.
Peace.